Sheesh.
I did. Good for go. Hi, I'm Bran, and I love Hallmark movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark movies.
I'm Ashley, and sometimes I'm lucky enough to be in a Hallmark movie.
And this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Oh my gosh, it feels good today.
Every time we have someone new on the show, I always watch their faces during the intro.
Oh, I try not to.
So they, as like waves crash over them, as what they've gotten themselves into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then if they're still here after the theme song, it's typically a good hour, Brand.
Yeah.
It's typically a good hour. And Ashley's still here, so I feel
Stuck
pretty good
with
about
us.
it.
Still here.
Stuck with us.
Yeah.
Hi, Ashley.
There's
Welcome to the
lots of
podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
This is very exciting. I
Yes.
feel like we haven't talked to someone like really like new to us in
That's
a long
right.
time. This
Yes.
is very exciting.
This is our first new one in a
Because the
while.
holiday season happened, and then we
That's
caught
right.
up
Be
with a
gentle.
couple people. We'll do
We'll do the best we can.
No,
And
it's
you
been
said
great.
you're a big fan of the show, Ashley. What's your favorite episode again? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
come on.
No. She's that guys.
Let me get back to you
Ashley's
on
great.
that.
That's right.
I got to do some homework.
Yeah.
Oh no, you do not. You really don't.
Ashley, this is exciting for us. We've seen you in quite a few movies at this point. You have one coming up this weekend, which we will touch on. But I want to go, I was going to say way back, but just back. You know, way back makes it sound like you're really old.
Come
I
on,
don't want to
Brand.
do that.
What
I
are
don't
we
wanna
doing
do
right now?
Let's go back to childhood. I want to hear kind of how you grew up, where you grew up, and kind of what was your first thing that got you interested in acting to begin with.
Ooh, okay. So that would take us way back to when I started talk. My mom talks a lot. God love her. And I could talk when I was 9 months. Because
Wow.
she would just talk to me constantly. Oh yeah.
You could say
What were you
words when you were
saying?
9 months old?
Oh yeah. I could say I don't know I know I could say French fry, which is kind of concerning, but I could also tell you what all
No.
the different animals would say. And
Man.
then I became obsessed with The Wizard of Oz, and I think I was like 2 or 3 at the time. Anyway, as the years progressed, I started to demand that my mother participate with me in reenacting various scenes of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And if I called her by Scarecrow, she needed to respond back to me in character, or Annie M, she would have to switch and do the same. So that kept happening, and then I just kept
Were you
telling her
always
I wanted to be
Dorothy,
in
or did you
movies.
have range as well?
Oh, I had range. Sometimes
Yeah.
I wanted to be the lion, or my mom once for Halloween actually dressed me up like a lion, and I sat there for like a full face of makeup. And then when she took me to the Halloween party, I didn't talk to any of the kids. I would only growl at them because I was in character. You know, I was feeling it.
Method.
You're
You're a
method.
method actor.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds like your mom's pretty special to not only like
She's amazing.
indulge this like fascination with acting, but to consistently play along. Like I got twin boys and I love them dearly, but always playing along with that's special. That's really cool that she would continue to do that, right?
Oh yeah. She's amazing for that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Where were you growing up? Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Cambridge, Ontario, in Canada. Born in Rhode Island, but we moved when I was 3. So I grew up in Canada.
Okay. So what was your first like actual like experience acting? Was it in like a school play or something where you got to like pretend with not just your mom on characters?
My first experience was probably, I did a couple commercials when I was younger, but then my first speaking role was when I played Alice in Wonderland in an episode of a kids show called The Zach Files. And I think I was like 11 at the time, and I loved it. I was passionate about it from the beginning, really. And it was like this Charles Dickens, like old school Alice in Wonderland. I got to do a British accent. I was very excited. I felt
Wow. At 11.
So did you take any classes as a kid, or did you just go straight from growling at people at parties to having
It's the natural progression. You
growling
somebody
to
to
the
party, then you
the
just
Zach
move right
show.
on up. That's right. Yeah.
I've taken some classes here and there. Yeah, I did. I think it was called Equity Theater. Some classes out of Toronto, and then yeah, I was lucky enough after the Zach Files, I did a couple other shows out of Toronto, and it just kind of spiraled from there.
So what was the gig where you booked a gig and you went, this is it, like as an adult or maybe like a teenager, 17, 18, 19, that you were like, I'm really going to do this for a career. Like I'm an actor. Like what gig was that?
I don't think that really came from a gig so much as it did. My parents, actually being as supportive as they are, kind of instilled that in me, and they helped me to realize that being an actor is auditioning, and it's not always about booking the role. So I had that kind of in my head. But I think one of the roles that I landed that I think changed a lot for me was when I booked a show called Privileged, which was on the CW 14 years ago. And that's what led me to then move to Los Angeles and enter that world. So I
Game
think that was
changer.
probably the role. Yeah.
We have a producer, Erin, and she says that I never saw Privilege, but she said Privilege was gone too soon, canceled too soon,
Gone
Oh,
too
thank
and
you.
is still upset about it. So you got a Privilege fan in the house.
That's really
Oh,
saying
that's
something
a
because
lot.
the Flash is still going on
Yeah,
somehow. And so
somehow.
let's try
The
to
Flash
even
is
let's
in
even
season 100. We can't get another season of Privilege. Like, what are we doing?
I
Come
know.
come on.
I know. I know.
I
We've had
really
this time.
quickly want to touch on you being student number 2 and Get a Clue. Now, this is a
Oh.
movie that I don't think
damn.
most people will care about, but as somebody who grew up loving Disney Channel original movies,
I don't know what you're talking
and
about.
Get
right
a
now.
Clue being one of my probably top 5, definitely top 5, maybe top 3 Disney Channel original movies of all time. I'm just jealous that you were student number 2. This was a big deal.
You
Student
guys
number
are
2,
dangerous.
opposite
You really
Lindsay
do your homework.
Lohan.
There's
Opposite
no
Lindsay
hiding.
Lohan, Dan.
She was in Lindsay Lohan joint.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen,
Clue.
that movie, I was obviously enamored with Lindsay Lohan. But for
Right.
me, what was crazy about that was so when The Little Rascals came out, the one with like Bug
Yep.
Hall,
Yep.
I was obsessed. I had the biggest crush on Bug Hall, so much so that I remember like trying to find his number in the phone book. Okay. Talk about aging myself.
Wow. All right.
And my parents
Yeah.
were like, okay, you're not going to find his number in the phone book because he lives in the States. And also like, this is not how that works.
You got to look up his parents' name too. So it's extra steps there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I had this massive crush on him. And then that was my first movie was Get a Clue. And he's obviously in that movie.
Right.
So meeting him was, that was a wild experience for me. And it also weird that the first movie I did had one of my biggest childhood crushes in it. So
How did you handle that meeting? Like when you met him? Like how'd that go?
I blushed and probably shut down and had a panic attack and tried to act cool.
What's he doing now? What's he doing now?
I wouldn't Google him if you want to keep that. If you want to keep I have Googled Bug Hall recently, and I would just advise against Googling it.
Wow, you would advise.
Oh,
You go down a bit of a rabbit trail. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well now I'm going to definitely Google Bug Hall. There's no way.
But
Yeah, I gotta
listen,
write
Dan.
that down.
Dan,
Ashley is also all in on Googling.
Alfalfa,
Yeah, come
Lindsay Lohan, a Disney Channel maybe murder mystery.
Ashley Newbrough is student number 2.
Student number 2.
Before you got Privileged, you were also in a show called Rent a Goalie. What is that?
Oh, that was a really funny show. It was on Showcase, very Canadian.
Yeah.
It's all those guys are absolutely hilarious. Their improv skills were so quick and hysterical. A lot of the times, the funniest takes never made it to air because people would laugh and couldn't keep it together.
Oh yeah.
But yes, probably the most Canadian a show could get. But it was about a bunch of hockey players, and I played a hockey player, which is interesting because I can barely skate.
Wow. You don't sound Canadian and you can't skate, actually. Man, the Canadian.
I'm not a very good Canadian.
I think you're American. I think you're American.
I think you are. I think you are.
Well, I'm both.
Yeah.
That's right. Dual.
That's right. Dual citizenship.
Mhm.
That's right.
But I should really brush on my skating skills.
So you should, because I mean, there's a test, right? I don't know. So
Every year you have to go.
and they can do like a triple sow cow and like a double toe loop. And And they're like,
and then
yes, you
chug
can.
some maple syrup. And,
That's right. Yeah. You can
Pick your
still-
favorite bacon.
Yeah, go to Tim Hortons, blindly take the donut. I don't know. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so you get privileged, and that sends you to LA. Can you tell me, if you're comfortable, a memorably bad audition, like one where you went in and then you were just like, for a show you wanted or something you wanted, and you were like, man, this is why I've got to go to more auditions. Like, do you have a memorable one that sticks out?
A memorable one that sticks out. One that sticks out was I auditioned for one role to play. I was playing a part for to be part of a girl group that sang and danced, and I was so nervous about the singing part. I grew up dancing, so I was like, "I'm dancing, I got," but the singing, I was really nervous. So I like practiced a bunch and saw a coach and everything, and then I remember doing the audition, and I nailed the singing part, and then they're like, okay, now let's see your dance. And because I thought I had the dance, I didn't really practice it. So I completely dropped the ball. I blanked. I couldn't remember it. And I was like, I heard my like heart pounding in my chest, and they're all standing there. I was like, oh my God, okay, I think I need to just start over, because like the music was off and I couldn't get the timing, and I completely bombed the dance portion of the audition. And I was just so
she just went into the Carlton. Was that for like an actual girl group that would like tour and stuff, or was it for
like
a show
about a girl group?
It was it a movie of the week? I think it was a series of movies of the week about a girl group. Yeah.
Wow. Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity there. Yeah.
When doing all this stuff in Canada, lots of stuff like such as Rent a Goalie, of course. When did you ever think about going to LA? Was there ever that pull to you to like move there and like pursue it, or did you do that? I don't know. Or was it, you know what, Canada's got a lot of opportunities, and so I'm just gonna, this is home for me.
I went there when I was 18 with my mom to I took some meetings there, met with some agents and managers, and it was very exciting, and I loved the feel of it. My mom, again, was protective and smart enough not to allow me to move there on my own yet, which I'm grateful for, because if I were to advise anybody within the industry, I would say hold off on LA if you're still a teenager.
Yeah.
So the draw was definitely there. I was very excited about it, and I knew it would happen eventually, but not when I was 18.
Yeah. What did your parents do for a living? It just seems like they were so, like, we talked to a lot of people on this show that their parents like were like, you need to go get a real job or blah blah blah, and like didn't, it sounds like your parents were so incredibly supportive of this dream of yours. What did they do for a living, and like what was their background?
So my mom was a stay-at-home super mom. There's 4 of us, so she had her hands full.
Wow.
And then my dad, while I was growing up, worked for Sleeman Beer. It was a beer company, and he was VP of sales and marketing.
Wow.
So I had a lot of house parties. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Easy. Yeah.
Really quickly, I'm just now seeing, and if you're watching on Philo, you can see this couch next to you that is like the back of what is this? Is the back of a car?
Cadillac?
That's been turned into a couch?
Yeah, that was actually my first purchase after I booked a pilot called The Coven, shot in Toronto, directed by David Wu. It was too scary for the network. That's why it didn't get picked up. I was so excited this was my the thing I had to have for my bedroom was this like Cadillac couch. So here it is.
You still got it.
Yeah,
I
do like that a lot.
Collector's item. Let me ask you this. You did a lot of TV, and then we're going to talk about Hallmark and movies of the week. But do you have a preference on that? Do you prefer serialized television? Your character keeps morphing and changing an arc, or do you prefer this one arc in an 85 minutes movie where you know where your character is going to end up and how you kind of play it to get it there? Like, which do you prefer as an actor?
Both have their perks. I think the amazing thing about being a part of a show is you get to develop a sense of family and consistency and security and all that, and you do really feel like you're part of a family, and it's amazing. You get to explore different avenues of your character and really sink into it, which is nice. Whereas with the movies, they're pretty quick shoots, usually 15 days to shoot the full thing. which is not a lot of time at all. So it can kind of happen a little too fast, but it's really fun. I do really enjoy it, and especially because then you get to experience different characters and different adventures and different locations, obviously. So both have their perks for sure.
I see that you also were able to do the Canadian rite of passage with Degrassi. First of all, congratulations. Who doesn't love it? I love
Degrassi.
it.
I've never seen an episode.
Degrassi. Our friend Alonzo
He knows everyone that was on Degrassi.
loves Degrassi.
It's like American actors have to be on like CSI or
Right.
Law and Order, and in Canada, it's like Supernatural and Degrassi. Like you were on one of those at least, if not both.
I want that, but now I'm interested. How did that come to be? Is that it does feel like every Canadian we talk to does do that. Does it feel like that as a Canadian actor? Like, okay, it's Degrassi time.
Yeah, it does. I actually didn't feel like a Canadian actor until I got on that show. That's what really solidified it for me.
I love it. You did it. You did it. Let's kind of slide into the Hallmark world. We'll get to the one that you're in this coming weekend. But what was the first movie that you made for Hallmark Channel?
The first movie I did with Hallmark was called Love Under the Stars, and that was shot in Vancouver, directed by Terry Ingram.
Oh wow, yeah, he did Unexpected Christmas and a few other. He's done a bunch of them. He's a big time Hallmark director.
That was back in 2015.
So how did you get in? How does that work? How did you get into your first Hallmark gig? Is it just like a call situation, like we've seen you on Privileged? Come to Vancouver, or what?
Something like that. Yeah, my agent called me one day and told me about the offer, and I had never done anything like that before, so I was very excited about it. And that was my first time in Victoria, and it's stunning. So yeah, that's it. Kind of just happened.
You were in Small Town Christmas
Yes,
with
you were.
our good friend Christopher Blaha. Christopher Blaha was the first guest we ever had on this show 5 years ago.
Yep.
Oh wow, no way.
We just saw him last weekend.
With him, last weekend.
Up. It was a lot of fun.
I love Chris.
And I love that movie as well. I want to know, what is it? I know we know Chris.
We know Chris very well. He's a dear friend.
How bad is it working with him? Because it seems like it'd be miserable.
He's an extrovert to the extra. Like I'm an extrovert, but he's like, we got to go do something all the time. Like he's nonstop. Like how was that? Was that like a way different experience for you?
Chris is great. I thought he was amazing. I don't know. He did this sort of ode to Jimmy Stewart.
Yes.
In the movie we did together, which I thought was very cool.
Trust us, he hasn't stopped talking.
The first time that he the first time that he did the Jimmy Stewart thing, what did you have to be? Did you yell cut? Were you like, oh wait a minute, what is happening here? Like, how did you feel as like a professional actor? This guy's going full James Stewart in the movie.
He went all the way.
Yeah, he did. Like
the first time he did it, I was definitely surprised. I was like, oh, so it's that kind of movie. I was like, okay. And then in my head, I'm like, I should have made a better choice. I need to make a stronger choice, I think. And I was kind of rethinking my own character and how I was going to kind of counter that, which was completely pointless. But I thought it was really fun. I thought it was actually really impressive that he could sound so much like him. And that he thought of that. I thought it was creative, and I thought it was great. And it was funny seeing how the director he wanted to have options just in case the network hated it. Yeah. So we had takes where he would dial it back or let him go all the way. And so that was fun to see him kind of turn it on and off and do that.
And it's interesting because that was back in 2018, old regime. They weren't really taking change. Like now Chris is doing something weird in every movie.
He
like
just does whatever he wants now.
But that was like early on. As someone who's been, on a handful of movies throughout the years and also through new regimes and leadership, how have you seen Hallmark evolve as someone who's in the creative process, acting? We hear it from a lot of actors. It's like you're able to like do different things now, which is a lot of fun. Do you feel that way? And kind of with this upcoming movie, were you able to kind of take some chances that you weren't previously able to take?
Yeah, this upcoming movie, I think we had a little bit more freedom. This is the first movie that I've done where it's more It leans into the adventure side of the story, which I think is new, and I loved. It definitely made things a bit more interesting. But yeah, I guess I think Hallmark has turned over a new leaf in a lot of ways. Um, and with this last one, I did feel a tiny bit more, I don't know if I would say freedom or just, I think there was a little bit more like funny moments, whereas I think before maybe there weren't as many. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've done enough Hallmark movies to be able to answer this question as well as
Well,
someone else
and
could.
to be fair, the movie you were in 2021 is a movie about a friend group,
Yeah.
which doesn't have that standard arc of
Yeah.
just small town girl going back home and meeting that. Like, so the movies you've done, you've got one where Chris is doing a Jimmy Stewart impression. You've got one with a friend group. It's not like you're hitting like the hallmarks of a Hallmark, but you know what I mean? Like the ones you've done have all been relatively interesting in their own right by comparison. So I think you've been either fortunate or you've picked really well, whichever one you want to go with. And I want to hear about those. But before I do, you were in a movie called You May Now Kill the Bride. And I'm positive that's not on Hallmark. But I would love to hear more about it. I clicked on the poster and it's a woman that looks a little bit like Michelle Pfeiffer staring into a knife, and it just says, he loves me not.
Were you the bride or the one killing the bride?
Newbrough's
I was
in
the bride.
the
Oh, I
reflection
see
in
it.
there.
I see it. Wow, that's not a bad poster.
It is a good poster. Newbrough
Creative, isn't it?
clearly is like, oh, I can't believe IMDb exists. Can you tell me a little bit about that movie?
Yeah, that was my first Lifetime thriller, and I had to at one point sit in a tub of lukewarm water and for hours, and me and Tam and Sursak had to kind of wrestle around with it. It was exhausting for a lot of reasons. But everyone that was a part of it was great and had a sense of humor, which I think is crucial for something like that.
Yeah.
It couldn't be more different from the Hallmark world or a Hallmark shoot. It's the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And it was wildly uncomfortable to be in this soaking wet wedding dress and like just flopping around at 2 a.m. with your co-stars trying to fight and make it look real, and there's stunt doubles and then there's not, and then you're in and out of this tub, and it's just kind of a nightmare.
How much of the movie was in the tub? Like
the whole
ending, because the whole thing was like she was trying to drown me, and it was there were some cool shots.
You're in your wedding dress?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
hold on. I know I could I watch the movie? Yeah, but here we are now. So how do you get from does the person who wants to kill you put you in the dress? Why are you in the dress?
She drug you? What happened?
So I can't actually remember, but it was on my wedding day. She must have drugged me, or she bashes me over the head or something, gets me into the tub, and starts running.
Why did she want you in the tub to drown? Like she wants to drown you?
Yeah, she wants me to die so that way she can marry her stepbrother.
Oh,
oh
no. It's not the direction I expected.
I just got in my ear from the producer, Aaron, that you did a Jimmy Stewart impression in that movie as well. And it was a choice.
Don't drown me.
Mary. It was a bold one. It was a bold choice, Ashley. And
that's actually where Chris got it from.
That's right. Yeah. That's bold of Chris to steal it from
that's the tidbit that Chris always leaves out, that you were the inspiration.
I'm getting married. Oh man. Wow. I feel like we need to have if you're ever in town, Ashley, because you come to Greenville, South Carolina so much, we need to all get together and watch that movie.
That would be a lot of fun.
If I ever watch that movie, that's where I'm going to do it. With you guys in South Carolina.
That's right.
Don't tempt us with a good
time.
Lots
of drinks. Listen, do you go back and watch your stuff, or are you like, I don't want to see it after it's done?
I watch it, but usually it's like that, and I'm cringing the whole way. It's especially painful when I have to watch it with other people, because it's you you never know what's going to happen. And you're also like, damn, is that how I sound? Do I really make that face? Oh my God. I think I need to go back into acting classes and just rethink every life choice I've ever made. So it can definitely be torturous.
So that full snowball effect.
I want to really quickly. So you've done like a lot of the Hallmark movies. You've been a bride in a weird killer thing. Genre wise, is there something that you haven't done that you are like have an itch to do? That's maybe a different type of character, different type of movie, anything like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm dying to do any kind of like period piece. I would love to get into some like 1800s wardrobe and do that.
I mean, nothing's stopping you just on a Saturday.
Yeah, true. That's true.
I'm just throwing it out
really
there.
There's no rule book. I like the way you think.
Right.
I should just do that. I'll start a trend maybe.
Yeah.
And just start walking around in corsets and all
would
that.
Would you do a voice? Would you do a little we're in the 1800s now? Something like that?
We're in the 1800s now, and I don't know what we would talk about in the 1800s. I need
some
to do my
Jane
homework
Austen
more.
stuff, I'm sure. Yeah, it would have to be some sort of like,
or The Great. Have you watched The Great?
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of The Greats. I know
The Greats.
Elle Fanning.
Oh,
You
really?
gotta watch that. Oh, it's fantastic.
It.
It's very funny. It's
in my
Nicholas
head. I
Hoult,
immediately thought of, weirdly enough, The Beguiled. Have you seen that movie? The
No.
Beguiled with like, I think it's got Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell. I think are
I know those two
Ooh.
names.
Yeah. But I think it might be Sophia Coppola. I could be wrong on that. Maybe I'm wrong on that part of it. Anyway, that's what I thought
Dude,
of.
that was so awesome.
Ooh,
Yeah, I know. It
I
was
love
it's good stuff, isn't it?
It's
Really
I'm gonna
good. This
watch
is
it.
good. Yeah. Please. I didn't actually love the movie, but that's what I thought of.
Oh,
Shout out to Beguiled.
It's
You're
actually the worst-
decent as a movie.
Actually, the worst movie I've ever
Yeah.
seen. But
What?
you look at me and
Richard-
think of the worst movie you've seen. That's good.
right,
Let's keep that up.
I'm here. Look, Jimmy Stewart. Here's the. Do you have a favorite? You can't say your current one. You can't be like the Glacier one is the best one of the movies of the week you've done. Like, which one are you proudest of, or holds a special place in your heart?
Oh, that's hard. I mean, every project I've been a part of, I've been super lucky because it's been special for its own reason. I am really proud of the past one that I did for lots of reasons. We were on the mountain. It was a whole thing. But I did a movie in Scotland last year that I loved. It was the first time I'd ever been to Scotland or Europe even. So I was just like wowed by the scenery and getting to shoot near I think it's called the Viaduct. It's the bridge from Harry Potter,
Oh, okay.
which was amazing to me. So that one was great.
What's that one called?
Saving Christmas Spirit.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
Something to watch.
Yeah.
Let's go. You said you were for in the Glacier National. What's it called? National Park Romance.
It's called Love in Glacier National, a National Park Romance.
Okay,
that's awesome.
With a colon.
The word
in there.
national.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, a lot. You said you were on the so they filmed this on a mountain, like actually on it, like
Where at?
So we were in Fernie, British Columbia.
Okay, so not Glacier National Park.
No. But it was incredible. I've never seen so much snow in my life. It's actually the first movie that there was no fake snow at any point. All the snow that you're going to see is real snow.
Yeah,
man.
So it was freezing. It was like minus 20 degrees, I think, Celsius. But it was beautiful.
Can you do that math real quick?
Beautiful.
I cannot. Very cold
It's very cold.
in
Got it.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
It's very
Very,
cold.
very cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
80-ish. I don't know.
80-ish.
I don't know. I'm gonna look it
Oh
up.
yeah. Cold enough that your mouth starts. There's a couple scenes where we'd start and I could feel it in my face, and I'd have probably about 3 lines before I could feel my mouth starting to freeze, and then you got to stop and warm up because you can't really speak.
What do
as
they
long
do with
as-
like the equipment? I feel like that could be problematic.
That's what I thought too, but they had ways around that. I'm not sure exactly how that worked, but they had that figured out, and our director Christy was very on top of everything, and sometimes every 15 minutes we'd have to go in, everyone would have to go inside and warm up for a bit before continuing, because it was that cold.
Wow.
That's Christy Will Wolf, right? She's done a
Yeah.
lot of these films. She's been directing for Hallmark for a while. She's done a lot of them, so that's cool. You had Stephen Hazar up there with you. He's done a lot of Hallmark stuff. So you got a bunch of like regulars up here making this movie, which is a nice way to end January with all real snow, nonetheless.
Oh
So,
yeah.
That's
A lot of it.
exciting.
When did you film this one?
November.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
So before every season starts, we do a preview episode where we read the synopses of the movies, and
we give our like expectation rating.
This is gonna be a good one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But this synopsis was relatively confusing, and I'll explain it in a second. But you are an expert in avalanche forecasting, which Dan and I didn't know was a
We
thing.
didn't know it was a thing.
I thought avalanches were like,
no,
it's coming.
Here comes an
That's when
avalanche.
that's when
what we thought.
So really quick,
That's
if you could give me a quick, I'm sure you did tons of research on this, a quick rundown on what avalanche
Ashley
forecasting.
looked like she hated you in that moment. She was like, Brian, I can't believe you did this. Do you have any more info than we do on what an avalanche predictor does?
Is it this? You put your finger in the air? Could be an avalanche
This
today.
is why you have to watch the movie, because it's going to be very educational.
Nicely
I
done.
did learn a little bit. I think my character has come up with an algorithm or this piece of technology that can collect enough information to then assess avalanche risk and be able to predict when one might happen a little more accurately than, say, Steven's character, who likes to just go based off of intuition.
So this is like Twister. In Twister, when Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton, and Helen Hunt just wants to go storm chasing, and Bill Paxton's like, we got this invention thing. Like, it's like that, right?
Oh yeah. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
It's like Twister, but for Hallmark
Well,
and glaciers.
If that doesn't wake you up next week, I don't know what else. But the synopsis ends with this sentence: their dual approach bring more than forecasting to the forefront of their hearts. And I'm still not entirely sure, but it sounds like you guys might.
Okay.
Their dual approach brings. I think if it had said brings, that would have made
They left out the S, but brings more than forecasting to the forefront of their hearts. So
you're not on trial here, Ashley. We know you didn't write this. Like,
Okay,
we know
good.
that.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good.
But it sounds like you guys. So it sounds like you guys maybe butt heads a little bit, but then
sounds like you may be butt heads. Is that what you said? You want to go from the top there, Chief?
Okay. Whatever.
All right.
Do we get to see an avalanche in this movie?
Yes.
Oh boy!
Wow.
Man.
I got to see an avalanche. That was wild. That was
You did?
humbling for sure.
Really?
Did you really?
Yeah, they set them off. That's kind of how they keep it all under control.
So this I'm sorry to interrupt you. This isn't a green screen. You're watching a live avalanche happen?
Yeah.
Man.
It was wild. Yeah. So where we were shooting in Fernie, the resort we were at, it's known for avalanches. And if that resort hadn't already been built, there's no way they'd ever be able to build it now just because of the avalanche risk alone, which is terrifying.
Yeah, I really want to go stay there now.
Yeah. Although it is beautiful, and I would highly recommend it because it's absolutely stunning. One of the ways that they control the avalanches is by shooting off these like little avalanche bombs. And the first time I heard one, it actually scared me, and it happened in the middle of a scene. I thought it was a legitimate bomb. I didn't know what it was.
They didn't give you all a heads up. It's bombing time.
Avalanche bombs sounds like we were so busy wondering if we could to never stop to ask if we should. Like what is the science that we need an avalanche?
We got to get it before you got to get it before it gets us.
Yeah.
Is it one of those things? Like we got to set it off,
man,
so we control it.
Yeah, exactly. So before it gets too big, and they know when it's gonna happen. There was an avalanche safety course that happened on the Saturday before we were about to shoot. That Steven went to. I couldn't go because I had a hair and makeup test, so
he
did more of his homework.
Had to scratch it from the calendar. Couldn't make the avalanche safety meeting. There's nothing you can
you
do.
know what? I thought the
can I
best way
just-
to
I
learn is
do
to teach.
feel like that should be required when there's avalanches going on. But you got to do what you got to do.
Listen, I had to learn my lines, okay?
That's
That's
exactly
right.
right.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
No, he
Mhm.
learned. We got to learn a lot because one of the guys in the movie actually is an avalanche safety expert. He like basically runs the mountain, Robin Zegers, and he plays my coworker Bryce at the beginning of the film. And he was able to let us in on all the secrets and educate us on just the safety of it and avalanches and all that. So that was pretty fascinating.
This is exciting. Like this is legitimately exciting for a movie where we just came off of 3 Wedding Veil movies, which look, I'm not here. I'm just saying 3 movies
Not
about
the
wedding
place for
veils.
that.
Like this
That's
movie
impressive.
with no green screens, real snow, an avalanche twister is how I'm billing this movie. I don't know if
I
it's
like
going to
that.
live up to that, but that's what it sounds like, Ashley.
Yeah, way to set the bar. You know,
Is there a
No one's
flying
gonna be
cow in this
disappointed.
movie? Is the avalanche going to be going down and you see a cow?
no, but there is a dog that rides a ski lift.
Yeah, there is. See,
And
look
they
at this.
stop selling.
They one up Twister there too. You
Yeah.
hear that, Twister? You
hear
got
that,
nothing.
Twister? You got nothing.
Yeah.
And that was like a
Man.
20-minute ski lift. And that German Shepherd, he wasn't strapped in or anything. He just laid down. He just sat there and then laid down and was completely chill the whole time. I think he yawned in the middle of
Wow.
the scene, which
Wow.
was also
That's
encouraging.
crazy.
Sounds like the
Yeah.
dog might have missed a safety training day as well.
He had a hair and makeup test.
Hey,
Nothing he could do.
He couldn't
Yeah.
be bothered.
Rapid
Yeah.
fire time.
Rapid fire time. I like that. We're each going to ask you 3 questions similar to what we have been doing, but different in that they can be about anything.
That's right.
Oh,
If you can believe it, the last 30 minutes has been
It's
structured.
been a lot of show prep,
Wow.
Ashley. We have a big script that we use. You want me to
You
go
go
first?
first, Dana.
Your favorite meal in Los Angeles. What is it?
oh, my favorite meal in Los Angeles. Ooh, you can't go wrong with sushi at Aroha in Studio City. I love sushi at Aroha. That's what I would
Oh,
probably
okay.
say my favorite is.
We went out to Ketsuya with Chris Palaha. We ate at Sushi Ketsuya with Chris Palaha, but Aroha is now on the
and he
list.
just kept talking in that dumb voice. From the spirit. You gotta try the sushi, Brian. What's a guilty pleasure TV show that you like to watch?
Ooh, Love Island UK. Love it.
Oh wow.
UK, it's better.
It's
with
better.
with the accents. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
It's hilarious.
A dream director to work for on a film or dream actor pairing for you?
Dream director would be Baz Luhrmann, or Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
And then dream actor to work with, Meryl Streep, Nicole
Ooh.
Kidman
Yeah.
would be massive. Or Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I'm also
Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a
Sure.
genius. She's great. Have you
Yeah.
seen Hunt for the Wilder People? Taika
Yes.
Waititi's. Oh my goodness, I love that movie.
Ricky
so
Baker.
much.
Oh,
Ricky
my
Baker,
God.
Sam
Such
Neill,
a gangster.
Taika with in the scene where he's the pastor and he talks about like Fanta and Coke Zero and there's another door. It's like
Another
I literally,
door.
my wife and I will put that 3-minute scene on and just cry laughing. It's the best.
It's brilliant.
Oh,
That whole
so
movie.
genius.
I love that movie.
So
I love
great.
it.
Absolutely.
It's another door.
It's another door.
So
Another
you
door.
you mentioned that you don't skate.
Ice skate. Yeah,
Ice
skating is not what. Yeah. Oh, here she's like, I'm already terrified.
No, I was just gonna say.
Here we go. I need to message Chris about this. Had I known what I was walking into, maybe I wouldn't have signed up for
Do,
this.
do you have a favorite winter sport?
I do now. So cross country skiing I hadn't done that since like 8th grade up until shooting this last movie where I had to do it again. And that reminded me of how fun it is. And it's an amazing workout. I was pouring sweat.
Sure.
But you're having so much fun, you kind of forget that you're working out, which is the best kind of workout in my opinion. So I'd love to do more of that. And skiing in general would be great to do more of too. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I went skiing once.
What'd you think of it?
Well, it's the reason why it's only been once.
There it is.
It was a
We live
tough
actually.
day.
We're from South Carolina. Skiing is like Like we don't even know how to spell it.
No.
Like we just just give us a break. Is there
He's like the après ski?
Yeah, that's right. Is there any water ski? Yeah, let's do that.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything in Canada that you just miss that's hard to find readily available in LA? Like something like a Tim Hortons or something like that you're like, man, I wish that I could find this in LA that I just can't find.
Oh yeah. Seasons, especially rain.
The rain in Canada. Oh my goodness.
At first I was like,
I've never. I don't know what it is.
At first I was like, I've never heard of this season. What do they serve? What do they do? Thought it was a restaurant.
I thought you were going to say like a certain type of seasoning. I'm like, there's seasoning that's only in Canada?
Yes.
We got to go.
No, the
up
weather
there.
is the same every day. And it's like you lose track of what time of the year it is, because there's no fall. And I love fall.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what I miss the most. That is not available in Los Angeles. People dress like it is, and then you just sweat your ass off. Can I swear?
You're fine. You're fine. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
So you just start sweating profusely, and you're trying to make this fall look happen with your sweaters and the layers, and it's all cozy, but it's not. It's hot, and you're sweating, and you're uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's confusing when the pumpkin spice latte comes out in July, and you're like, well, I
95 degrees.
I do want it. So I guess I gotta just do that. Yeah, I know about that life. My last one is something that you're listening to right now that you're really enjoying. It could be music, it could be a podcast, it could be anything.
Ooh, so podcasts. I'm listening to Jay Shetty's Life on Purpose, or On Purpose. Which one's it called? Either way, love that. And a song on repeat is Runaway to Mars by Talk. It's very good.
All right.
Highly recommend it if you haven't.
Got to check that out.
I haven't heard about either of those two.
Wow.
Things.
We got things to do. We got research to do.
We do.
The Bride Who Killed Me movie.
Yeah.
And
you've got to watch Get a Clue.
Get a Clue.
Student number 2.
Student number 2. Look out for.
You've got to look up Bug. So
top of the list though for me is absolutely to tune into Deck the Hallmark and put in at least, a good 100 hours. And then I'm actually going to interview you guys, I think.
Wow. Let's cut that right there. We got it. We get it. No, I will say this, Ashley, and you have been just a treat and so wonderful.
Thank you.
Don't listen to the episodes of the movies that you've been in. Because if they weren't great movies, I may have said some things that I now regret. No, I'm just kidding. Listen to whatever you want, for sure. But yeah, you don't have to, is all I'm saying.
I know I don't have to, but I will.
Yeah. Now it's just going to happen for sure. Yeah.
I'm coming for you now.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. The second
you brought up that bride, you may now kill the bride. I was like, okay, I see you.
Please, by all means, we're here for it.
Well, Love in Glacier National: a National Park Romance premieres Saturday, January 28th, 8 p.m. Eastern
on the Hallmark
That's channel.
Exactly right.
Watch that. We're going to be reviewing it next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Ashley, thank you so much. How can people find you on the internet if they want to, see pictures or something?
I'm on Instagram, Ashley Newbrough.
Great.
That's where you can find me.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you so much, Ashley. You were so wonderful. This has been great.
Thanks for having me. This is so fun.
And I know it just was Christmas, but we're legally obligated to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you. And a Merry Christmas to you.